should you have multiple CVs? That's a question I get asked quite a lot in the groups. Now, personally, I don't have multiple CVs. I've always had one CV for my entire 27-year contracting career, and that's served me perfectly well. Now, I'm a monitoring consultant, quite techie, but I've also sort of led teams as well. So I've done sort of higher level work, reported into CTOs and people like that. So one thing I did last year when I was looking for a role, before the role I'm in currently, was I was going for a role that was quite senior. It was like, £1,000 a day type role, might have been a bit more, for a major bank. And it was like leading their enterprise monitoring and observability projects, deployment, strategy, whatever you want to call it. So this role was definitely a more senior role than roles I've had before. So what I did was I actually did copy my CV, renamed it, and all I did was change the opening paragraph. Because to me, the roles that I've had in the past, historically, are what they are. Maybe it was a tech role, maybe I led a team, maybe I managed one junior team member, whatever it was, that description is the same, because that's what the role was, okay, if that makes sense. So then all I did was took my opening summary, which might have said, technical monitoring and observability specialist, blah, 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 blah. I might have then said that I've led a couple of teams in the past. Because I was going for this more senior role, I just switched it around a little bit to say I am a monitoring and observability team leader or strategist, or whatever, that sort of consultant level view, and then supplemented that with the tech stuff that I do. So I just changed it around from saying I'm a tech specialist and I've also led teams to saying I've led teams and I've got these management style attributes and qualities. In other words, I've got that sort of more senior focus at the top of my CV, and then said, by the way, I'm also a techie. So I just sort of switched it around. So I ended up with two versions of the same CV, but they were exactly the same apart from that opening paragraph. Now, obviously what I did before that was I just went through my CV just to make sure that my normal tech CV did have things in it like led a team or managed a junior team member or recruited somebody or whatever I'd done. So I enhanced that default CV first to make sure it's got my tech skills and the higher level sort of more management style skills. And then I created the second version and just changed the opening paragraph to make it more management focused, to warrant getting me put forward for that role, for that £1,000 a day role. So I hope that makes sense. So I get people, for example, saying I'm a project manager, PM, and I've also got BA skills. And sometimes people will create two CVs, two entirely different CVs. Sometimes they look completely different, like as if they've been created by two entirely different people. Maybe they have been, maybe one got reviewed or something and one was their own creation. But my point is that they create a PM CV that doesn't mention BA stuff, and they create a BA CV that doesn't mention PM stuff. Now, the downside of that is if you're going for a BA role, you might go into a group of 100 people all applying for that role, and they just go, oh, right, Dave's a BA, this person's a BA. Whereas really, you're not singing your praises, you're not highlighting your unique USP, which is that you've got BA skills and project management skills. Some people I speak to have got like Scrum and product owner skills. That is your USP, all those things. So again, what I would do, I'm not in that niche, but this is what I would do in that situation, is create one CV that makes sure for whatever role you've had, you make sure you highlight, if you did PM and Scrum Master in that role, for example, you would highlight PM this, blah, 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 Scrum Master this. That, because the role is what it is. Describe succinctly what you did in that role, making sure you're highlighting whether it was BMPA type, product manager, whatever it is in that role. And then I would just make sure you've got all those skills elsewhere on page one of your CV. But just like I did, change the opening paragraph. So you might say, I am a project manager with 20 years experience, blah, 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 blah. I also supplement this with BA skills that I've used in this company. I've also been a Scrum Master in a couple of organizations, whatever else. So you see where I'm going? Or if you're going for a Scrum Master role, you'd say, I'm a Scrum Master with 5 years of experience of leading Scrum teams across this organization in this niche, blah, 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 blah. I also supplement that with my project management and BA skills, which means I'm a better Scrum Master or whatever. You get my point. So I think that makes the whole thing of having multiple CVs a lot easier to manage, because then your CV is exactly the same and all you're changing is that opening paragraph based on the role you're going for, not tweaked and not matched too much to the job spec. I'm not a fan of taking the job spec and just matching that opening paragraph or your CV word for word for that job. I just think that could negatively impact you, because if people start to think, this sounds exactly like this position, then they might just have a red flag here and think, hang on, this person's just tweaked their CV. They've over-tailored it towards this role. So I would just review all your roles, make sure they define exactly what you did, Scrum Master, PM, BA, whatever it was. That stays static the whole time. You don't need to touch that ever again if it's in a good format. And then just change your opening paragraph to put the emphasis on the thing that you're going for, on the role that you're going for. I'm a Scrum Master, blah, blah, blah. I supplement this with product owner experience, BA experience, PM experience, blah, 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 blah. Or I'm a senior project manager. I'm a great project manager because I've also got Scrum Master certification and skills. I've also been a BA, so I understand it from that point of view. Do you see where I'm going? So that's my view on having multiple CVs. Not a fan of multiple CVs because it would just be a headache for me to manage. The only way I find it easy is by having 2 CVs with just the opening paragraph switched around. But my primary CV is still my primary CV. Okay, hope that makes sense. Let me know what you think in the comments below, but I get asked this a lot, so I just thought I'd do a quick video and share that with you guys. Anyway, hope that's useful. Wish you all the best. Cheers. Bye.